I got around a lot in high school. Once I lost my virginity, I guess because I was led by how good it felt. But I left out for decades afterwards the other person over there, the other person. And that was revelatory so late in my life.
Welcome to Paradox, hosted by Dr. Sherry Ross, leading OBGYN, and Dr. Tammy Nelson, world-renowned sex therapist. Two experts, zero filters, full truth.
Our guest today, Steven Weber.
Of course, many of you would know Steven from Wings and The Shining and 13 Reasons Why, but now he is stealing the scenes as Dr. Dean Archer on Chicago Med. In this episode, we're going to talk about the role of humor in healing, the link between comedy and mental health, why vulnerability is a strength, especially for men, and what's next for someone who's still just getting started. So, Steven, my dear friend, welcome to our show. So happy to have you.
Tammy, I just met you. You seem very nice, hygienic, and lovely, and clever. But I would do anything for Cheryl.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I had the privilege of delivering your two extraordinarily, wonderfully talented sons, Alfie and Jack, a couple decades ago.
Yeah.
And as an OBGYN, I always fall in love with my patients. But in your case, Steven, I fell in love with you.
Gosh.
And of course, Juliet.
I don't know what to say. Well, so let's just talk about Juliet Honan for one moment, who is the mother of those beautiful children. And we are together, and we have evolved. Our relationship has evolved. And
every time I've been with you and Juliet together, you seem like this. You have a good connection, and you are wonderful parents. Your boys are incredible, and I love your relationship with them.
Yeah, again, that's evolved too. Look, it's so funny because I've come to believe that marriage and having children are misunderstood conceptually and socially. There's social conventions. You got to get married at this age. You got to have a kid at this age. But I'm probably just speaking for myself, but I'll speak about men in general and people even more in general, is that we're not emotionally ready yet to do it properly. Maybe that's the point. Maybe we have to struggle in order to learn and then teach, but it's a huge pain in the ass to do that. Like right now, I'd feel more equipped to just get married now, and maybe in 3 more years have kids. I would know way more what to do than I did before.
It's hard. We don't get a good instruction manual, as they say.
Right.
And I think that's challenging. But you both seem to co-parent very well.
Thanks.
Despite being, I know you're divorced, but you have a very mature relationship, very respectful, which I can tell just from knowing you two for as long as I have.
I mean, without divulging too much, we're technically divorced, but we are together. I part of us just said, "Oh, to hell with it. I don't even want to bother with the bureaucracy of it all."
And you lived with Juliet for
We
post-divorce.
live together now. I mean, we lived even through the worst of our troubles, and which she certainly did not have to do. But in spite of some times when our energies together were very, aggressive, put it that way. She still sort of innately knew that we were a unit and it was important that we were together. And that actually, as difficult as that was, paid some dividends, at least for me as a father, trying to learn how to parent. A man trying to learn how to parent boys, which I have a whole understanding of now as well.
Well, I love that you have that sort of alternative contemporary relationship. Like you made it work in the way that you guys needed to make it work.
Thanks. Look, it's very easy to just do what everybody else does. We're having some trouble. Let's split up. Let's find some new mates. Let's find that. And if you can do that, then fine. For some reason, we didn't do that. We did things the hard way, and at least from where I'm sitting, obviously, I wish we hadn't gone through these challenges, uh, just because they were very painful.
Hmm.
But maybe that's my time on this planet. I need to learn shit the hard way.
So how have you balanced your career? You've done a lot of things, very, very varied. How have you balanced your career? Like, what's kept you going all these years in your career? You've done a lot. You're still doing a lot.
you know, I really feel that for the most part, a great deal of luck has to do with why I'm still working. Over that time, over the years, I'm in my 43rd year, I guess, of being a professional working actor, which is crazy to me.
Congratulations.
And you
Thanks.
started so young in your
I did. I
teens
started
back
when I
in
was 1 years old.
Queens.
No, I started. Yeah, I was. I did commercials when I was a little kid, and then almost immediately after college in 1983, I got work. And had some dry spells where I had to pay my dues, and I was an elevator man, and I pushed racks in the garment center, and was a dishwasher, and a terrible short order cook, and all that stuff. Um, and did the classic New York young actor life, but I was just very lucky to have caught a wave that has kept going, or a series of waves. And at some point, I have had to say to myself, well, maybe it's because I'm good enough to get hired, as opposed to just being a lucky bastard. I think it's a combination of both. There's actors who are way, way, way better than me, obviously, who don't work as much as me, and so
Mm.
that's something that I I understand and admit to. Um, I try not to let a lot of the good fortune that I've had go to my head. So I
Mhm.
have to work to be humble in a way. Believe me, life has humbled the shit out of me. So that's not that hard to do. But
I mean, did you ever want to leave the industry and stop acting?
uh, actually, several years ago, maybe probably within the last 10 years, I was literally asking myself if I'm enjoying this anymore. What am I
Oh,
doing? What am I doing? Because a lot of
wow.
acting professionally entails waiting around. It entails looking yourself in the mirror all the time, and that's hard because
Mm.
you're aging and
I
you're,
know.
it's
Fabulous.
weird. Yeah, the vanity
Right, right.
is actually very destructive in a way, or corrosive.
Mm.
And then I thought, well, what the hell am I doing? I'm not. This isn't fun particularly, and I don't even know if I'm giving my all to it. So yeah, there were some moments of doubt, but again, in that same period of the last 10 or so years, I kind of reinvigorated myself and became more enthusiastic.
That's interesting.
Was there something that sparked that energy or
Well, oddly enough, what we were just talking about, the shit that was going on in my life, I had to I had to take stock of myself and had to make certain choices and not let everything be a matter of luck. I had to
Mm,
live with intention, and I
mhm, mhm.
had to open myself up to having humility and trying to listen to other people more and trying not to just kind of bloviate and just be actor boy and just be a pain in the ass. I had to be quiet for a little while. Um, and uh, and then at one point, and things started happening for me after a dry period. But I was playing a lot of dark roles. I was playing a lot of villains, which is fun to do for a little while. But
Mm.
after a while, it became all I ever did.
Wow.
And even the guy who I played on Wings was by no means a villain, but he was a womanizer and a pain in the ass. And in the time when that was still kind of a fun stereotype. Tom Hanks played that type of role, and you know what I mean. These were like
Mhm.
Yeah, you were the dude.
funny.
Yeah.
What's that?
You were like the dude.
So like the dude, I mean, the dude was way more. If you're talking about Lebowski, I mean, the dude was way more. But just in general, just like a
In
dude,
general, the dude
That's
is
yeah,
right.
guy's
yeah,
guy,
A
the
true
girls,
bro.
true bro, yeah.
wolf whistling, and that kind of gave way to these darker roles. And eventually, I was doing a show called Get Shorty, which was a great series that had Ray Romano in it, and
Yeah,
it was
that
it
was good.
wasn't seen that much, but I was playing like a really bad dude. And at one point, I think I just looked up, and I'm not religious, but I said to the universe out loud, "Okay, I get it. That's enough. I want to play some good men now. I got it. I got it. I don't need to do this anymore." And I began to play better guys to the point where now I'm playing. He's irascible, but I'm playing a healer and a
Yeah,
guy that
yeah.
has a grasp of himself. Emotionally speaking. Anyway.
Yeah, I like that character better than Jack in The Shining.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Although Jack in The Shining was an addict, I mean, a lot of people forget that The Shining is about alcoholism.
Yeah.
And
It's true.
if I and that's something that really became more I became more aware of as I got older and began to live more life. At the time, it was just fun playing this monster, this guy, walks around with a croquet mallet,
Right.
smashing people. But I have incredible empathy for that guy.
Yeah.
I love how you're talking about how all these roles are kind of your shadow parts and you kind of work through them. And like, okay, I've seen myself enough. Like I need to see another part of me and I'm growing into that other part of me, the healer part.
Yeah, I mean, I began to see that everything I did was an outgrowth of what was happening inside of me, and even the broken stuff was coming out in weird ways, and even subtle ways. Not weird ways, but not only were they coming out in big ways that were destructive to relationships, but they were also keeping me perpetually off balance.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
so I had to eventually, like I say, kind of reevaluate even the most minute choices. It's still a bit of
Yeah.
a challenge. I mean, I'm still a schmuck, but I'm not nearly as bad as I was.
How do you deal with the anxiety of that, like the performance anxiety of like going on and doing something every day that's not necessarily my choice today? Like I have to do something someone else tells me to do.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm doing what I trained to do, what I was clearly on a trajectory to do, even as a young person, to perform and to get that kind of gratification from people, whether it was making them laugh and then later on applause and then later on money and then later on, a kind of a modicum of celebrity, which is another weird thing. But so even though I might complain about it, complain about aspects of it, I'm clearly doing what so many performers wish and deserve to do. So there's not a lot of anxiety except in the idea that all of that immediate gratification and affirmation will stop. But I've gotten better at that too.
Did you have any like pre-game rituals for any performance anxiety, ways to ease that, or it wasn't such an issue?
Uh, over time, I lost any performance anxiety. People are supposed to have nerves, and going on stage is, of course, famous for people having stage fright. And I basically just stopped having it. I insisted that I shouldn't have it. This is a while back, probably about 20 years ago. I just said, this is a waste of time. I don't need this stupid convention. I'm
Yeah.
doing everything I want to do. People are liking me. What am I afraid of?
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
but also
remember-
that led to another realization that I was actually in many ways much more free and honest on stage than I was at home, that I was in my
that's
real life.
fascinating.
Yeah.
So you were more your real self on stage. You could sort of let parts of yourself out that you couldn't in your
Yeah,
real life.
that's right. That it sort of gave me certain material gave me that kind of permission, an avenue to stroll down and express different aspects of myself that I felt that I felt I needed to guard in real life.
For me, my anxiety is kind of like free floating. It just floats around till it finds something it can attach itself to. And sometimes anxiety it's really excitement. Like it can feel like I'm excited to do this.
Right.
But it feels the same as anxiety in my stomach
Right.
or my chest.
It's like the top of the roller coaster.
Right.
A little bit.
Well, that's what I literally told myself, that the butterflies I was feeling was not fear. I turned it around. I said, no, that's how it feels to have this performance energy. This is
Yes,
the feeling
energy.
that you have when you have fuel in you. And once I began to reassociate that feeling with success rather than terror or failure, it turned it around for me. And I began to like auditions. I began to have little to no fear of performing. Now, that's not to say that, it's necessarily easy, or I don't, forget lines or get distracted. That's something else. But I thought, I'm succeeding at this. Why do I have to throw obstacles in my way? And so I like I said, I redefined it.
It's so fascinating. It's like this flip side of the same coin, like I can be successful and energized and use that as excitement, or I can self-sabotage and screw it up for myself and like go into the fear and the
Right.
anxiety. And it sounds like what you're saying, I kind of relate to like that feeling of, well, I'm going to screw this up, or I'm not going to be liked, or whatever your own narrative is. We all have ours. And that's on that side of the coin, right? And it's almost like you're saying, well, look, I'm old enough now. I figured it out. I can make a choice of which side I want to focus on.
That's kind of what happened. And I'm sure it has its roots in not feeling like I deserve the type of success or deserve even a kind of affirmation.
Oh,
And
that's so
I
relate to that.
I have emotional roots in that area as well. Guilt,
Mhm. Of the not
Guilt.
deserving guilt.
Oh yeah. I
Mhm.
have survivor guilt. I have, because my sister passed away when she was 32 years old, and I always felt a little bit like, I'm getting all this attention, and even though she was a little older than me, she was darker, and she wasn't. She didn't feel the need to perform for people's, approval the way I did.
Mhm.
So for years I thought, oh shit, I don't deserve all this good stuff I'm getting.
Mhm.
That's hard though, Steve. I mean
Wow.
that's really hard.
Well, you've
Yeah,
done a
well,
lot of work on it, sounds like, to
I've
get
done a lot of work. I'm a
Mhm.
huge believer in therapy. I had a fantastic therapist. I actually took a break about a year ago because she's still in me. She's in
Mhm.
my pocket. It's not like I
That's great
needed a
though.
break, but I just thought, I want to ride my bike without training wheels, and she was phenomenal. I love all that stuff. I like analysis, and I found it to be very, uh, very constructive, especially if you're an artist, which is
Mhm.
another
But
designation that I always was embarrassed about. But
Being
if
a
you're
creative
creative,
type, yeah.
it's
but that's hard work to go to therapy and be honest. Because a lot of people go to therapy, but they may not be honest. And I think, right? Like you
Yeah.
must see that. But
Mhm.
that's great, Steve, because you've really wear your heart on your sleeve.
I guess it took me a long time. I mean, it took me a long time, and of lying to myself and lying to people, in small and big ways.
Hmm.
And what was hard about that was that I was still getting a kind of affirmation from my work, which is my job, which was,
Yeah.
kind of superficial. I could be really shitty at home, but I can get applause on my TV show. So it was very difficult for me to figure out, well, what am I misbehaving, or am I doing something wrong here? Nah, because
Right.
Right.
I'm still producing.
They like me, so I must
They
be good.
like me. Yeah.
How did that
So,
affect you as a parent to your sons?
well, I found that I was when they were younger, I was more concerned with them liking me, with me being their buddy, and
Mhm.
getting them to laugh, and getting them to, and rather than starting at the basic kind of building blocks of, you know, for them to take care of themselves, or to start. It sounds very general, and sounds like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But what I did as a partner to Juliet was that because I was doing that, I was trying to get them to like me. She had to do the heavy lifting, and it was incredibly unfair, and it made her. There was a real imbalance, and it made her the heavy, where I was just the likable guy. And good, and you see, as good as that made me feel, because they loved me, but were kind of uptight with her because she had to discipline. She had to
Right.
do the stuff that I didn't know to do.
Yeah. There's always one.
It's pretty common dynamic. Yeah.
I guess so.
It's really amazing that you have the insight to actually call yourself out on that, because a lot of people go through life and end up
Right.
in my office years and years later and spend a lot of money trying to figure that out.
Well, look, I appreciate you saying that, and believe me, I'm, getting off on hearing all your compliments.
Well, we're
And
not trying to fluff you, like
no,
to talk about being
and I'm
fluffers.
not. It's not that I don't believe you either.
Yeah. Well, it's hard as a man, I think, to be vulnerable about your hurdles, especially if you're in a public role. What I've been thinking about is we've been talking of the transition of your career to now be in this place where you're talking publicly about your struggles and how hard it is and some of the anxiety and your mission in the world. Like, because I think just talking today with us, like your mission in the world has shifted to maybe helping other people. Like that's a big shift from I'm going to stand on stage and get what I can get because I'm a Leo. I stand on a lot of stages. I understand it in a way. And also the feeling of, at some point you have gotten so much and now you're sort of giving back. And it's not to fluff your ego. It's to really say, isn't it interesting how your whole focus today talking to us has been about what do I have to give now?
Guess. I mean, look. It's not something that I make public, really, because it's nobody else's business. If somebody wants to take something from it, great. And this is the only time I've really spoken, even as specifically as I have, even though I'm still being vague, because it's my personal life, and this whole landscape that we're in is so invasive and at the end of the day, if you even say something profound, it's it's just crushed so much.
It's going to be up on the kiss cam at a concert.
Oh God, it's so awful. It's a lesson for us all. I mean, you just have to be careful. One of the things was that helped me kind of straighten my ass out was straighten my act out using my ass. I had to start behaving like my kids were with me.
Oh, interesting. Good advice.
Just make believe your kids are with you. How would you behave in front of them?
That's good.
Stop taking that stuff for granted. So again, it requires discipline and repetition. It's hard.
But
but you know about that being an actor, discipline and repetition. You got to memorize all those lines. I mean,
that's true.
That's a skill. True. That's a skill I don't have with my ADD. I can't remember.
Well, but I mean, you guys are doctors. You've already memorized all the shit that takes me weeks to. The only thing I can remember from last season of Chicago Med was catecholinergic polymorphic ventricular tachycardia.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That took me.
That's a tough
4
one.
hours a day for 6 days.
Oh my God. What does that even
now
mean?
It's drilled in my head.
Bad heart.
Something about your
it's
heart.
A irregular heartbeat.
Yeah.
I think that my husband has that.
It's that. Something like that. And give
something like that.
Or something. I love that you're playing a doctor.
It's great.
It's
great.
Do you ask her about doctor questions? Because she would love to answer you. If there's any ever like a vagina question, she would be.
He hasn't called me. He hasn't called me about vagina questions.
Yeah. On the vagina phone.
the vagina hotline.
Well, actually, my character is emotionally linked to another character named Hannah Asher, and she's played by my friend Jessie Schramm, and she's an OBGYN and in this hospital, and she's got to work with the old cooter all day and all night, and and I mean, it's really incredible. And in fact, our characters have gotten together physically, even though it drives people crazy because I look like a bag of laundry, and she's this beautiful blonde kind of, and so people are like, oh, that's disgusting. So we're gonna start going exploring that area of being an older parent and all that crap. But well, I'll tell you, the good thing about playing a doctor is that we have great medical advisors and technical advisors, and they try to keep us as accurate as possible. It's a network show, so it's not like you
Yeah.
can show that much. I mean,
It's very accurate. I critiqued it.
I appreciate that. I
It's very
appreciate that.
good. I have to say, Doc, it's very good.
Oh, good. Now, have you seen The Pit?
I have, and that's
How about
very good
that?
too.
People love
Yeah.
that show.
It's a great
But
show.
your show's my favorite medical
Oh,
show.
That's so nice. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that. Glad to hear
And
that.
I'm glad you're with the OB.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
That's important.
I don't have to
We
do
like-
anything because she does it all. Yeah.
So, Steve, you've done so much already. What is exciting you about the next chapter of your life? Or are you just taking it a day at a time, like whatever's
Oh
working?
gosh, I'm mostly a day at a guy time. I'm a day at a time guy. Oh my God. Well, that's something else that worries me. I'm so tired now.
Uh-oh.
60. I'm gonna be 65, and I stay healthy and everything, but I'm just starting to get tired. Juliet and I are always saying, "How you doing?" I'm tired.
Yeah.
7 o'clock runs around. I'm like, okay, it's almost bedtime. I can't wait.
It's
So dull.
you have a little menopause.
Maybe that is because
Yeah.
it's making me nuts.
Well, you also work. I mean, it's not like you're like playing golf all day. You're working.
No, but this particular work is it's very sedentary. Doing a series is great for the just for the regularity and the paycheck and it's and the consistency. But even though I studied acting in school and in classes for about 8 or 10 years, I only use about 14% of acting on any given day. And the rest of the day is spent avoiding snacks, sitting around, looking in the mirror, getting your makeup done, joking around with other idiot actors. It's not really, it's not, you're not really doing your job, but maybe that is part of the job. And it's a little different than doing theater. In theater, you really have it's a more concentrated effort where you really are using your acquired skills and everything. But to your question, I mean, what's the next chapter and what am I looking forward to? I mean, I am feeling that I've finally acquired some respectable abilities as an actor, and but I'm still really trying to figure it out. Every day is a bit of a challenge. I always have to remind myself it doesn't come easily to me. Certain aspects do, but I really want to hopefully try to find some interesting roles befitting who I am now. I'm no longer the jaunty kind of mullet sporting womanizer. I'm an older dude and with a degree of experience, and I'll see if there's anything out there. I don't know. I'll see if there's anything that is really interesting. I'm also really distracted by our socio-political landscape now, and there's a place for artists in that, even a defensive posture in a way.
Yeah, but I love that about you. I mean, we don't have to go talk too much politics, but I love that you have a lot of compassion and respect for democracy and justice for all in so many ways. And you have to be bold to be on social media and talking about some basic things that people aren't talking about.
Well, that's a scary thing too, and it might feed into my addictive nature about wanting immediate affirmation. I mean, so as much as I have an opinion and I feel like it matters a little bit that I express it, I'm also getting that hit. Getting that hit when people get a like. When I get a like, I'm like, yeah, this is great. So I don't know what kind of purpose it fully serves. Look, as medical professionals, as therapists, and as doctors, it's not dissimilar from being an artist or a crafts person. And I don't know about you, but I find it very disconcerting if I find somebody in my field who is lacking essential empathy or is lacking essential compassion and supports a kind of behavior or legislation or something that furthers that lack of compassion, And I would be surprised if you had colleagues who were opposite ends of the political spectrum of yours, because your job, your passion demands a kind of
mental health.
mental health and a respect for mental
Access.
health. I mean,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So
So
I
are
don't
you going
know.
to go totally South Park on us, or what's your plan?
No, I'm not going South Park on you. Where did you guys meet? How come you guys are so friendly?
Oh, she was my vagina whisperer too.
In stirrups. Most of my relationships are,
It started
I
in
don't know.
stirrups.
It's a lot comes down in
She
stirrups.
saved my vagina, like she does many women. She's a genius.
Don't tell anyone. Shh.
And then we were like, "You want to go out for drinks?" Like, that was it.
Sure.
Deal.
I mean, you could have a whole
I did
app.
not ask her that question.
I peeked over the blanket.
You can have a dating app that just has like the labia on either side, and you press the clit for we'll
There's
design
your
this
next
whole thing.
chapter. There you go. There you have it. There's your next side hustle. Your next gig.
Yeah, I don't know. No, and besides that, Tammy is a great educator, and I gravitate towards people that want to help others, and not even sort of as clients, but beyond, because
Thank you.
we lack that in this world, and people need education, especially in the medical space, and so that's how we sort of locked arms and said, let's
change
continue
the
to
world.
educate and talk to people in different ways. And
It's good. It's a noble thing. I mean, it really is. It's education has fallen by the wayside. People
Well, certainly about sex and relationships and health and things people don't want to talk about, and the things that people are trying to shut down the world about. Like, we'll decide who's going to talk about whose body. Is kind of our our platform.
Now, clearly,
like,
there's an overarching challenge in our society in America where that is an actual thing. But do you find that maybe on a more local level that people are becoming more aware? I mean, I feel like there's all my male friends, for instance, have great degrees of humility and compassion and understanding and self-awareness that, I'm not exactly sure that the preceding generation had at all. But yeah, as bad as generally speaking things can be, I mean, I feel like there is a more educated understanding about human behavior, don't you think? I mean, as much as there is an attack on that, I still find that there are people. What about you? Do you find people?
Well, I think that there's a bit of an echo chamber that we tend to gravitate towards the people that agree with us. And I think, we need a new voice around male vulnerability as a strength and empowerment. And there's a lot of pressure to go the opposite direction now. So we need to have a whole idealism around what it is to be a man today. And aside from, our feminist empowerment, there is a shift in the script about men. So I appreciate that you're part of that. And I'm wondering if you had a piece of advice to give people, men and women, straight, trans, whatever, with all of your experience and where you are in your life, what do you want to tell people? No pressure. But, something that will change the world.
Beware the man with. That's it. And he died, and he had the answer. It's a stupid joke. That's an old joke from a ridiculous old movie. This is so simplistic, but I don't know if it applies beyond my profession. But I would never presume to give any actors acting advice. But the one thing I do stand by and tell young actors starting out, if I ever have the rare opportunity to speak to one, I say, be nice. Be nice.
I like that.
Even just tactically, be nice and you'll be treated better. But also, if you're nice, it will come back to you. That's another thing that I did learn. Again, I'm not spiritual, necessarily woo-woo religion guy, but I believe in the physics of energy, that if you put something out, it's going to come back in some way, shape, or form. And so be nice to people. And that, I guess, I could extrapolate and say that people need to be nice to each other. We're all walking each other home. We're all going to the same place. What is why do you care how people love? What the fuck do you care? It doesn't bother you.
Right.
And all the horror stories and the horrific narratives involving bathrooms and genitalia. What are you? It's just lazy and crazy, and it shows how malleable humanity is, how easily led they are, and easily confused, and easily distracted. And I can go on and on. I can even be pretty pessimistic and say that compassion and spirituality and caring is a bug, not a feature of humanity. Because if you look at history, it's just rife with horror. There's always been a vein of people who can see that it's self-defeating and self-destructive. But I think now we have so much at our disposal that can actually help us to get lazy again and just to kind of let our basest instincts control us would be just a sad thing. I know I'm just gassing now. I'm just bullshit now, but
it makes
true.
sense. Yeah,
And
and I think there's a difference between don't be mean and be nice.
Be nice.
Is like an action term. Like really, be nice. It means do something nice. Like be a nice person. Make a decision to be nice. That's different than just don't be mean and sit back and like.
And I have to say, Stephen, you walk the walk, and as long as I've known you, you have been so kind and thoughtful. In my office, I just remember you talking to the nurses and talking to the other parents, and your kindness and niceness shines through.
Well, I appreciate it. So does yours. Again, there's a give and take that is really being diminished these days. Social media is anti-social media, and you can see there's a huge difference in your how you feel and the energy in a space when you go to see a movie with a bunch of people, or you go to the theater, or you go see some event where there's people there. It's almost like a shock. Wow, I remember this. This is wild. I feel like that's how we're supposed to be. The fact that we're so separated, that technology has just kind of aided and abetted this decimation of community is really problematic. Now, obviously, there are technical things that we're in two different places in the country, and we can do this, and that's great. During COVID, it was great having FaceTime and Zoom and all that. It was really valuable. That said,
it could be isolating, or it could be connecting. We have to use the
right.
technology for good, right?
I do think it's important for all the people on the internet who might hate my guts. If they ever met me, maybe they wouldn't, and vice versa. I've gotten into these crazy, tiny-brained flame wars with people, trolls and everything. But as soon as I kind of back away, I see this happen all the time, and I start regarding them in a way that is maybe complimentary or acknowledging something that we might have in common, everything goes away. It's so amazing. I'm not an anthropologist, or I'm not a specialist in humanity or human behavior, but holy shit, it works every time. I feel like that's the key. But
people want to be seen. People want to be validated.
That's right.
And you're doing your own social media. I can tell.
I do. And
I can tell.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of so do you. I love your social media.
You do a lot of good social media.
Are you getting good vagina tips? V-tips?
Again, I don't need them anymore because I'm so well versed in that particular organ.
That's right.
Inside and out.
Well, speaking of which,
oh shit.
now, since this is your opportunity to have the two of us together, a world famous OBGYN and a sex and couples therapist or sex and relationship therapist, if you could flip the script in this last few minutes and you could ask us anything you want, I mean, you could ask for a friend, what would be a question that you might want to ask one of us or both of us about anything?
Oh God.
I know, no pressure.
That's ridiculous.
No pressure.
After I eat asparagus, that's a Mel Brooks thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shows like
You know what
that's
happens
right.
after you.
Oh,
Actually, there's other foods that you eat that,
Pineapple, right?
well, pineapple's good for sweetness, not just for
Ejaculation.
ejaculate,
Yeah.
but
I
vaginal.
wasn't even talking about that.
That's where we go. I can't
I'm like
help ourselves.
urinating. Why does it smell?
That's
Jesus,
right.
you guys are disgusting.
No, but it gets
these are
into
important.
all your fluids.
No wonder when I weep, which I do more than I ejaculate, it stinks.
Eat more pineapple, Steve. That's the advice.
I mean, no, look, really, now that we're talking, I mean, to paraphrase, and maybe this is a wrong person to paraphrase depending upon, what your feelings about him, but in the movie Crimes and Misdemeanors, Woody Allen's sister, he asks her how her date was. And she says, "Oh, it was terrible. He, we had dinner and everything, and then we came home, and he went to the bathroom on me." And he says, "Oh my God!" His hands fly to his head, and he says, "Human sexuality is such a mystery," which I always found hilarious and
Yeah,
also
it's true.
profound. I mean,
Hence my career.
That's right.
I mean, my experience with all that stuff was, I tell you, it was based on misinformation. It was based on and my cadre of buddies, my friends that I hang that are more or less my age, all agree that we got the foundation of our sexual knowledge was from the Penthouse Forum letters. Okay.
Yeah. Still.
Wow. I can't believe this happened to me, and here we go. And
yeah,
I remember those. Yeah.
It's total. I can curse on this, right?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Total fucking bullshit. It's fucking madness.
I mean, our kids, that's how they're learning.
Oh my God.
About sex is through porn.
Yeah. From the time they're like 10 years old.
The average
handheld device.
The average age for someone looks at porn is 11, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
And it's much more intense than we ever saw growing up. I'm like,
that's right. The Penthouse newsletter's gentle.
That was very.
Oh my God. Well, yes. And I saw pornography at a fairly early age. Me and Danny Plutzer and Gar Hedges went to behind the softball field at Hoover Park, and in this wet, rained-on kind of cardboard box with these old, musty kind of magazines like Gent and all the Gallery. And we were like, so that's, literally planted the seed of a kind of attitude I had towards sexuality, and of course the female form, and then it kind of it blossomed from there, and mostly in unhealthy ways,
Yeah.
Nothing that was ever physically harmful, but just kind of harmful to me. I got around a lot in high school. Once I lost my virginity, I guess because I was led by how good it felt, but I left out for decades afterwards the other person over there, the other person. And that was revelatory so late in my life. I mean, too revelatory.
So you didn't read She Comes First?
No. I mean, but even that was sort of part of it too, because it had less to do with her and more to do with my feelings of accomplishment as a guy. If I'm able to give her pleasure, then that makes me more of a man or whatever, stud.
Still,
and there was a time early on in my therapy where my therapist said, you have no empathy. And I was like, what? I cry at movies. I love my sons. Blah, blah, blah. but she was referring to specifically, the people that I'd been with over the years for whom I had thoroughly objectified.
Mm.
And that was huge for me.
When did you realize that, Stephen?
When?
Yeah, how old were you?
Oh, I was absolutely over 50.
Yeah. So
Over 50.
I'm sure this revelation helped your sons. I'm sure you've spoken to them about all that.
Well, I guess. I mean, perhaps. The thing is that what had propelled me so much of the time when I was a young guy, after age 16, actually probably before that, through my 20s, has taken a back seat, and so that was the foundation of going out on dates or going out to dinner or whatever it was to get laid. And again, I found that attitude to have been something that I really learned because I was ingrained in our culture, from all the kind of Porky's types of movies to James Bond, and when you look at all these films in which men, even womanizers, are kind of lionized in a way. They're kind of, it's the way it goes, or hey, I'll tell you a story that obviously makes me look like a great guy. This is about maybe 10 years ago. I was watching Some Like It Hot, and great movie, Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, Marilyn Monroe, and classic, hilarious, great ending. Well, nobody's perfect. Everybody knows this movie, fantastic movie. And I was watching it, and it suddenly occurred to me that Tony Curtis, who spends a good deal of the movie trying to get laid and then trying to, bang Marilyn Monroe, is an awful fucking guy. Like a bad guy. He's beautiful looking, and he's a musician, jazz, and they're on the run from the mob. And he's an awful dude. And because he's taking advantage of Marilyn Monroe, who's in this film is an alcoholic. She's a sexaholic. She's a broken, abused woman, okay, who's sneaking drinks and thinks a rich guy will heal her. And he's taking full advantage of that until he becomes a woman. And at that moment where he and Jack Lemmon are dressed up, it's a great movie, dressed up as they're in full drag and they're running in heels, which is also funny. And he sees, I'm going to start to cry, and he sees Marilyn Monroe on the bandstand, and she's, looking gorgeous. She's kind of psychotic, Zoftic, and holy Christ, and she's crying, and she's singing, la da 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 la 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 love. I can't remember the song, but it's like a love song that is full of yearning and regret. And he walks up to her in full drag and kisses her on the mouth. And she's, of course, shocked that her girlfriend, Daphne, whatever it was, Josephine, is kissing her. And in his regular male voice in full drag says, "Don't cry, sugar. No man is worth it." And I was like, I started crying. I started crying because I had this kind of revelation and about manhood and maleness and all that stuff. Being a man has been hard. It's hard being a man, even though they are dominant and they're physically dominant, and they, look at the world we're in now. It's crazy toxic male culture, but it's hard holding the fact that we're obsolete. Women don't need men to procreate. They're responsible for 99% of all the bad shit that's ever fucking happened in society. And this kind of awakening, not in just me, and I'm sure if anybody hears this, some men will be like, Jesus Christ, what a pussy. And you're not, you fucking, you're a waste of space. Okay. But it's hard kind of shouldering that even subconsciously, it's kind of a drag. And my male role models growing up were all broken men, including my poor dad, who didn't know how to express love and tried but couldn't. And I thought that was kind of cool. And then that's echoed in art. Every Bogart film, every or O'Neill, Jamie Tyrone, all these broken guys who found redemption through alcoholism and poetry. Well, that's great on paper, but it's it's terrible.
Painful.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It causes such pain. And to have that passed down to your children. And as a father of 2 boys, I realized probably a little later than I should have that I needed to stop a chain of dysfunction that was passed down to me from my grandfather, who was fucked up, to my father, who tried to battle it but couldn't, and then he gave it to me, and then anyway. See, this is like therapy.
No, it sounds like though, Steve,
Free therapy.
you have really evolved, and I hear it, and it's really, thank you for sharing that. And I know your sons have benefited.
I hope it's not too saccharine or too, I don't know, but everybody's got a tough road,
You're in an interesting place because, yes, men run the world, and we are at the brink of the demise of patriarchy. So even though you're still running the world, you're kind of on the other side. So it's a weird place, to be a middle-aged white guy. You have all the power, and we're trying to get rid of you. It's conflictual.
Not Stephen, though.
No, because this is exactly what we want. We want, the middle-aged white guy to really be empathetic and understand his vulnerability and his feelings to change the world, to change how we structure things.
I always think of it in terms of a pride of lions. It's a matriarchal society, and but it's not one that's competitive. It's the matriarch, the lioness, procreates and raises her babies, and the male does what he's supposed to goddamn do, which is hunt and protect and get food, and he does his thing. He teaches his things to the kids too, survival, and but they're not competitive, and they're certainly not trying to diminish the other one. There is a kind of a harmony there that for some reason the male ego, the human ego, has found this incredibly dissatisfying. So much of human history is a reflection of that, in my opinion.
So for anyone who's listening who wants to find you, wants more of you, wants to connect with you, wants to hate on you, love on you, whatever,
sure.
How are they going to connect to you?
That's up to them.
Do you want them
if they have a podcast, I'll be on it.
Okay. Oh, geez, that's going to be a flood of invitations.
Yeah.
I do Instagram under actually Steven Weber, and I say that with a modicum of regret because I feel like I'm addicted to it, and I'm falling into the same pattern that I decry with everybody else that contributes to that antisocial platform. But that's probably where. But apart from that, just look at old reruns of Wings or a lot of old shit like that, and, or tune into NBC's Chicago Med on Wednesdays as part of the One Chicago Night.
Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh, Stephen.
That's cool.
We are so grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you for this wonderful, this conversation of such substance. And you are just funny and honest and real and very nice. And very nice. And whether you're doing your sitcoms or, working in the hospital now, you really are just very honest. And
I'm sterile.
I love you sharing your story of growth and personal growth, and just wearing your heart on your sleeve like you do. And you continue to show us that reinvention isn't just possible. It's exciting.
Ooh, look at you.
The tagline that you just gave him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you're giving someone a pap smear, are you also thinking of cool things to say?
She does say cool things, though.
I
She
try to
does.
distract them. I try to distraction, but
Nothing going on down here.
let's just But really, so much appreciate you being here and making the time. I love you.
And being
I
our
love you
first,
too.
our
I love
first
you.
guest. I didn't mean to interrupt the
I
love, but
love
I
you.
just want to
No,
say I really
I do.
appreciate you being our
I
first
do.
guest on our inaugural
Thank you.
kickoff. We
Thank
really,
you, Tammy.
yeah,
I'm
she
very
picked you out
fond
of the
of you,
list.
Tammy. I love Cheryl, but I'm fond of you.
Well, there's still time. We'll get
Ay,
to know each other.
Oh God, don't
You know, we could-
start. Don't start what you cannot finish, lady.
We could have you back. I mean,
Anytime you come back.
you could come back. You could be a regular. We kind of like you. It's really refreshing, actually.
I'll be your Andy Richter. I'll be your Ed McMahon. I'll be the man in Ed McMahon.
You could be the man on Paradox, the male voice.
Paradox. One dick paradox.
Oh my God, that's actually pretty good. Oh my God, we could go on all day.
I'm so appreciative. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
thanks. I
you.
hope
Love
it's
to
okay.
Juliet and those fine
Yeah.
boys.
Please, please let's have something to eat at some point. I mean, I'm going to be in Chicago, but I go back and forth. So, come on.
Will you text me when you're here and we will
course.
meet?
Of course.
And,
And reach out to, I think Juliet would be a great guest on this show. Come on.
I was thinking about that.
She's an ass kicker.
She's an
Ask her about,
incredible-
I mean, she's had a life. MTV also, I don't know if you'll ever get her to open up, but she had like a Dickensian upbringing. Let me tell you. I mean,
She's an
crazy
incredible
parents.
real estate broker.
Yeah.
She's like
Now,
the
but
number
she was
one in the city.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
in the
don't tell us any of her secrets because you're still
I won't.
recording.
I won't. But her childhood, she was raised by her father sired her at age 59.
Wow.
Between her father and mother,
She's English,
they each
by the way.
had 4 spouses.
Mhm.
She had a really intense, tough upbringing. So I mean,
Wow. Sounds interesting.
She's
real
amazing.
fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
So go.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to
Thank
everyone
you.
listening, check out wherever you are, Stephen Weber on Chicago Med. Stephen, it's been a joy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. And thanks for listening to another great episode of A Paradox. I'm Dr. Tammy Nelson. This is Dr. Sherry Ross. And wherever you are, stay healthy, stay safe, stay sexy.